I've built some huge landmarks in Minecraft. The White House, NFL stadiums, an entire theme park, and with all these massive creations getting the spotlight, we forget about the small landmarks that are still worth building. So today, I'm gonna be building some smaller landmarks that wouldn't get their own video, but combine them into a massive landmark extravaganza. Let's begin. The first location we will be recreating today is the iconic Hollywood sign. Nothing much else to say about it. Jump cut! Now, as you can probably guess, this build is pretty straightforward, not too hard of a build for me to create. Not the hardest thing I've ever done, and that's why this is less than a minute long. Not a hard build at all, just a bunch of letters here. I've done letters before, and a little extra detailing here, just because I want to get every little detail right. So I got the orientation of the sign right, and every single letter is in the right position where it would be. And then I am also coming into the back here, and I'm adding these nice little support beams, just to add that extra little bit of realism. So there we go, nothing too crazy, but the Hollywood sign has now been liberated by me. And I'm also going to make the ground look a little more deserty to line up with what it looks like in real life. And there we go. Look at those beautiful cinematics of the Hollywood sign. This next location might need a little bit of explaining. We are going to Philadelphia to build Independence Hall. Now, you may not recognize the name of this building. However, this is the building that the U.S. Constitution was signed by the Founding Fathers, and is also the home of the Liberty Bell. At least right next door is. And we're going to get started here with the time-lapse. This build is probably a unique build that stands out the most in this video, just because of how unique it is, and probably the least well-known building slash landmark in this video. So you are all learning something a little bit new today here with this new landmark here. Unless you already knew this building existed, then you probably didn't learn that much. But hey, here is a new landmark for you guys to know about if you didn't know about this thing previously. And it is also different in that it is sort of a complex sort of thing. It's got more than one building here. It's got this main building right here, which I'm building right now, is the actual building where the Constitution was signed. So this building right here, the central one, I believe, I'm 99% sure that is the central building. So I hope I'm right about that. I think I'm right about that. And then there are these side buildings that aren't connected to this building at all, which I don't know what those are at all. I'm not even gonna guess, because I didn't do my research on those ones, because I just care about this main big one right here in the center. That's the famous one. That's the landmark we're building. And this is a nice little build, an intricate build. I guess you could say it's intricate. It's not the most intricate thing I've built. You know, if you guys been watching for a few months, you know, you saw Big Ben. I built some pretty intricate things, but this is a interesting style, and I really enjoyed building this little thing, along with the park and plaza right next to it, with the Liberty Bell building, which is like a super modern building, and that whole complex that I'm building right now is like super modern style, which really clashes with the like 1700s style of the building that is in the background there. So that's kind of interesting. It's like modern meets old. And yeah, I'm still happy with how this thing turns out. Once we get the trees and the bushes going up in this park, this place really turns out really nice. So I hope you guys enjoy this build here. I had a lot of fun making it. This was probably the most fun build I had making out of all the ones. So there we go. That's my final answer. The most fun to build because of all these bushes and the interesting style, like I said. But there we go. That's gonna pretty much finish up this little old landmark, and we're gonna get into some beautiful, beautiful cinematics of this nice little building. Now we are going back to the West Coast to build the biggest build of today's video by far, the Golden Gate Bridge. And we're gonna get started here with the Golden Gate Bridge, one of the most iconic bridges not only in the United States but in the world. I'm pretty sure it's worldwide famous. Tell me in the comments, I don't know. Other cultures, other countries, is the Golden Gate Bridge a famous bridge as it is in the United States? Because I don't really know. That's a great question for you guys to answer in the comments, all my international viewers. But you're gonna have to forgive the wonky camera here. This is a long bridge, as you can see. I made this thing 1-to-1, obviously, as I do with most all of my builds, and that means that this is a 2,000 block long bridge. And even here, I only built one half of it, and I used World Edit to copy it and flip it over to the other half, because it is symmetrical down the middle, which is nice for me. And here we have the main famous tall bridge suspension tower thing that makes it look the way it does. The really tall thing that holds up the cables. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a bridge architect. The truss, no, not the truss, the tower, I don't know, I'll call it the tower, and there are the little sections coming off, and you can kind of see it coming together already. This was an easy part of the build. The hard part is what's going to come up here in a few short moments. Right there, you can see me getting the cables. The cables was actually a pretty challenging part just to get the right curvature. Even at the end of the day, it wasn't perfect, but I'm still happy. It's close enough. This cable right here, this section looks really nice. It's the middle section that was a lot harder to do because it's a lot longer, and I needed to get a specific angle to get the curvature right, and you can see it kind of looks a little wonky in some places, but if you squint your eyes, it looks pretty good. And there you can see the bridge is cut off in the middle there. That's where I'm going to World Edit it over to the other side, and now I'm just getting these little middle cable supporting sections for the main suspension cable, and we're gonna finish off this bridge with the actual street here and all the street details and all that fun stuff, so you can actually drive across across the bridge. There you go. So there's that, and this bridge is almost done. And we're gonna get into some final details here. Again, the camera's being a little weird here, but here is the full flipped bridge. I hope you enjoy these awesome cinematics. Now, when I uploaded my Every State's Tallest Building video, the Missourians were upset that I used one Kansas City place instead of the Gateway Arch, and they definitely let me know how they felt about it. So now it's time to make it up to them and build the Gateway Arch. Alright, Missouri, this one's for you. Here we go with the St. Louis, Missouri Arch. What did I just say? The Gateway Arch. There we go, that's the right word. This one took me a few tries to get the angle right, but eventually I got it right. I used a online program to help me get the curve correct. It is the, if you want to look it up, the Minecraft Circle Generator, I think is what it's called. That's what I use here to get the right angle here. And admittedly, to start off, I thought this looked a little goofy. I thought it looked too chunky, too thick. But if you look at it in the end, I think it looks alright. It looks not too bad with the job that I did here filling in these spaces. If you look too closely in some spots, it kind of looks a little lumpy. So if you just squint your eyes, just give it a little squint, and then you'll be very satisfied with how it looks. Or just don't look too closely at this arch, and then you'll have a great time admiring its beauty. But yeah, here we go, coming down to the base section here real quick. This is a real quick build, just a little bit of geometry. We do a little geometry, simple as that. You know, I'm a little mathematician, so geometry, just my neck of the woods. You know how it is. Call me Stephen Hawking, call me Carl Sagan. No big deal. I'm a little geometry, mathematics expert here. So there we go with the arch real quickly. and take a look at these beautiful, beautiful arched cinematics. The last landmark of today's video is going to be in the big old city of Chicago, the little brother to the Sears Tower. Let's build the John Hancock Center. And we are off with the final build. This is a tall one. If you watched my Every State's Tallest Building video to the very end, you'll know that I had to use a mod to be able to fit some of those tall buildings into Minecraft with the height limit that this game has. And this building is going to join the club of the buildings that I need a mod to build completely, because this thing is so dang tall that I could not fit it into the default Minecraft build height, at least with the spires on top. If you don't have the spires and you just have the actual building itself here, then I was able to fit that into the base game without any mods. But I'm not just going to build the building without the spires on top, because that's lame. So I had to go ahead and reinstall the Shattered World Limits mod to be able to fit the spires in on top. And this building is actually a pretty interesting one with the way that it's kind of set up here. It's got these sort of diamond-shaped things in the I guess the superstructure, and it's a really nice looking style. And I really like the design that this building has. It looks really similar to the Sears Tower, except it's different in its own ways that makes it unique, but it still looks like super similar. That they're both black and they're both these sort of sleek modern buildings, and they both have these really tall white spires on top. So I'd like to know the backstory behind that. Is that a coincidence that they look similar, or that was it the same architect that built it, or what? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, you Chicagoites. I think that's what, I don't know what you call you guys. Chicagoans, Chicagoites, whatever. Here we go with its final section up here. On the top, the spires, like I said. And there we go. Look at those bad boys. They're not the same height. Each spire is a different height, which is interesting. But there we go with the full building done, and enjoy these final cinematics. And unfortunately, that will draw a close to our journey together, but do not fear. If you press the subscribe button, you can join me in all of my builds that I have coming up, and I have a lot of builds, some pretty massive ones that you don't want to miss out on. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And another heads up, thank you to all my patrons. If you want to check out all of these builds, they will be on my Patreon, available to download. You guys are fantastic. Stay tuned for the next video on my channel. And until then, have a fantastic day, and goodbye!